Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Friday Night SmackDown post-show review. I am your host, Josh, as always. I am going to be going over Friday Night SmackDown from October 24th, 2025. It just wrapped up, just finished, and I'm going to be going over everything that happened on tonight's episode of SmackDown. A very, there were probably one or two good components to this episode of SmackDown. It wasn't the greatest episode of SmackDown. Um, it really wasn't. And I found myself, like, for the most part, not enjoying a lot of this. And this episode went by really fast. I felt it went by really quickly. Like, I looked at the time and it said 9:32. I was like, okay, this episode just flew by. Um, Yeah, it didn't feel like there was a whole lot happening on this episode of SmackDown. But we're gonna go over everything. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, hit the notification bell so you're up to date with all the videos, podcasts, and interviews that come to the channel. Subscribe to the Kayfabe Central Ko-Fi page. It's $5 minimum to subscribe to the exclusive wrestling content tier. Make sure you check out the Kayfabe Central Discord server as well if you want to talk. If you want a place to talk about wrestling or non-wrestling related things. There's a channel for both of those on the Discord server for Kayfabe Central. So go ahead and check that out. Check out the Kayfabe Central website as well. That's where I post all my coverage posts, articles, all that good stuff, written predictions. All of that is on the Kayfabe Central website. So make sure you guys go ahead and check that out. That's all the self promo I'm going to do for this. Yeah, let's get straight into Friday Night SmackDown for October 24th. Um, we kicked off the night with Cody Rhodes coming out, hyping up the crowd a little bit. He was then interrupted by Drew McIntyre, who came out through the crowd. They had a bit of a jaw-jacking back and forth. Obviously, we had the announcement that Drew McIntyre will be taking on Cody Rhodes next week at Saturday night's main event for the Undisputed WWE Championship. So they talked about that a little bit, and then Drew McIntyre reiterated that he is guilty and he is not the one that attacked Jacob Fatu last week. And then he went on to blame some other members of the bloodline, like Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso. Um, and he brought up Naomi and how he said, things like that run in the family. Maybe they pulled a Naomi. That prompted Jimmy Uso to come out and attack Drew McIntyre. They brawled. They had a security pull apart brawl. And that's what opened SmackDown. Um, Eventually, later on in the night, we got the match made that Drew McIntyre and Jimmy Uso will go one-on-one in a no disqualification match. From the jump, I wasn't intrigued in this because um, we've seen it so many times. We've seen it so many times. What's up from Argentina? How's it going, man? How are you doing tonight? Or I don't know what time it is in Argentina, but how's it going? It's good to see you. Um, Hi, how's it going? How's it going? Um, but yeah, that was not at all intrigued in this McIntyre and Jimmy Uso match from the get-go because we've seen it so many times. Um, we had Drew McIntyre asking Nick Aldis to handle Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Uso attacked him backstage again, and just continued that. No, I will not. We then had the first match of the night. The MFTs, Tama Tonga and JC Mateo of the MFTs took on Ray Phoenix and Shinsuke Nakamura, in which the MFTs picked up the victory. Um, I I still am not behind this whole MFT thing. I don't understand it. There was also no sighting of the Wyatt Six tonight. I don't know if that's a feud they're still continuing, if they're scrapping it. I don't know what's going on. Happy Friday, Jesus loves you lots. Thank you, thank you. Happy Friday. Nice haircut. Thank you. Um, but yeah, I'm still not behind this whole MFT thing. It seems like WWE doesn't even know what they want to do with the MFTs and with this whole Wyatt Six thing, who are still the tag team champions, and they weren't even on this episode of SmackDown. Speaking of tag teams, by the way, we were supposed to get Fraxium taking on DIY in this episode of SmackDown, but that was scrapped, I guess, because of the no disqualification match. Maybe something else went overtime. But that match got scrapped, and all we had for them is what I'll get into a little bit later, but was a backstage segment. So that's kind of unfortunate because that's a like another thing I was looking forward to on this episode of SmackDown. Um, Backstage, we got the confirmation of Jimmy Uso versus Drew McIntyre, no DQ. Chelsea Green and Alba Fire tried to get Julia to join the Secret Harvest, but she wasn't really interested. Kiana James then came into the shot and pretty much put that to an end. She's like, no, Julia's with Kiana James. She's with me. And kind of just shooed them away. That's when we got into Tiffany Stratton defeating Kiana James by pinfall. A match that wasn't really interesting. I didn't expect it to be interesting. Um, I, I didn't enjoy this match, and neither did the crowd. The crowd didn't enjoy this match, and for the most part, they were just quiet for this match. And I can't blame them that they didn't really give them anything to make noise about. And that's not a shot at Tiffany or Kiana. I actually like them both, but the match here just didn't seem good. Um, yeah, just no, it wasn't good. Um, what are my thoughts on Logan Paul? I don't like the guy. Um, in terms of in ring, he's been impressive and he's talented, but Logan Paul, the person, I cannot stand. Um, and it's for that reason I can't really get behind him as a wrestler. Despite him being really talented and adapting quickly to wrestling, I just I don't like Logan Paul. Um, we then had after the match, Kiana James and Julia attacked Tiffany Stratton. Jade Cargill came out for the save and got rid of Julia and Kiana James. She handed the title to Tiffany Stratton, was celebrating with her, only to lay her out with a clothesline, officially turning Jade Cargill heel, it seems. Uh, yeah, Cargill lays Tiffany Stratton out, beats her up a little bit more, throws her over the announce table. Security comes out to pull her off. Um, Jade Cargill then stomped on the knee of Tiffany Stratton that was on the steel steps. So that's gonna be a big story in this match that is announced for Saturday night's main event next week as well. Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill for the WWE Women's Championship. That was rumored already to happen, and the rumors appear to be true. I don't have any interest in this match. I think that they did this already. I don't know if this is where they put the title on Jade and hoping that this, the scar that she had ends up being the whole thing that we had with the man Becky Lynch. I don't know if it's going to translate that well. So, hopefully for her it does, but I don't know. I'm still not fully behind it at the moment. Maybe by next week when we do our predictions podcast, my mind will change. But as of right now, I still don't really care for it. Um, we then had backstage Sami Zayn congratulating Ilya Dragunov and officially passing over the U.S. title open challenge to him. So a little bit of a, head nod from both men. They're not too much about that segment. Jade Cargill then told Kathy Kelly backstage that she is taking power. She's not going to wait for anything to come to her because she's realized that patience doesn't do anything for her. So she is taking power, and it starts with the WWE Women's Championship. That obviously prompted what I just mentioned, the Saturday night's main event match next week between her and Tiffany Stratton. We then had the United States Championship Open Challenge match. Ilya Dragunov defeated the person who accepted the Open Challenge, that being Aleister Black, to retain the title. Now, this is crazy because earlier in the day today, I was talking to a friend of mine and I was telling him that Aleister Black versus Ilya Dragunov would be such a good match. Um, it would be a fantastic match and the perfect ending to that match if Aleister Black were to go over. what's going on, Chris, is Ilya Dragunov going for the torpedo Moscow and getting caught with a black mass midair. That would be a perfect ending. Not the case though, because towards the end of the match, Zelina Vega came out with what am I talking about? Friday Night SmackDown, WWE, that just went down not too long ago. Um, Zelina Vega got involved. The referee saw it, and the referee then threw her out. That then prompted Damian Priest to come out. I was hoping that this feud was just over with and he wouldn't interrupt. Um, hey, thank you for the Crystal Rose. Thank you, Chris. Um, but yeah, Damian Priest came out. That was a big enough distraction for Ilya to hit the torpedo Moscow and get the 1, 2, 3 to retain the title. Um, yeah, that was that. I was hoping that we wouldn't get any interferences, but this is a weekly show for the WWE. Of course, we're gonna get interferences. What am I thinking? Um, so that feud is obviously going to continue. Aleister Black was attacked by Damian Priest after the match. Um, Zelina Vega then jumped onto Damian Priest and started raking the bad eye. He came out with a nasty shiner over his eye. Who are you talking to? Are you recording? I'm recording. Yeah, yeah, I'm recording for the YouTube channel as well. Um, Priest was attacked by Zelina Vega, got his eye raked, and then allowed Zelina and Aleister Black to run away into the crowd. Now, I brought this up on my live. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you so much, Chris, for the 12-year awesomes, the roses, and then the live. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. You're the best, Chris. Thank you. Um, and I mentioned this in my live, and I think that this may lead to a Lola Vice call up to SmackDown. I think we're gonna see Lola Vice on SmackDown very soon to assist Damian Priest against Zelina Vega and Aleister Black. Because you need something there, right? Because he's gonna be like, okay, I'm tired of Zelina Vega getting involved. How about I call somebody I know very well in Lola Vice? So that could easily well be the case. Um, so yeah, we gotta wait and see what that brings. Maybe that's a match. I don't know about at Saturday Night's main event, but maybe at another PLE. Keep up the good work, man. Thank you, man. Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Um, but yeah, that was that. Hey, thank you, Chris. Thank you so much, man. Oh my goodness. And the TGIF. Oh my, Chris, you are a goat. Thank you so much for the gifts, man. Thank you. Thank you. That means a whole lot. That means a lot, Chris. Thank you. Um, Shout out to Chris, man. Shout out to Chris for the ice cream cone as well. Thank you so much, man. Chris is going insane right now. That means a lot, Chris. That really does. That means a lot. Um, we then had after that, backstage, Carmelo Hayes was saying he's done with The Miz, that they're even. Um, that's usually not the case in WWE. The Miz is going to come back. But Melo was interrupted by um, Kit Wilson. And Kit Wilson did his typical thing where he says, this is toxic masculinity or whatever it is. Um, Carmelo Hayes then challenged him to a match next week, so that's gonna happen next week. I think Melo's gonna beat Kit Wilson, and The Miz is gonna attack him after the match next week. That I can see that happening. Um, yeah, pretty confident that that's what's gonna happen next week because it's Kit Wilson. They're not gonna put Melo and Kit Wilson in a program together. Um, I could see them just sticking with the Miz program and seeing what that takes us. Maybe that's added to Saturday night's main event. No clue. Um, but yeah, that was that. So we're gonna get Carmelo Hayes versus Kit Wilson next week. Backstage, Fraxium was asking Ilya Dragunov for a U.S. title shot. Ilya Dragunov told him, "Well, it's a U.S. Open challenge. It's open to anyone and everyone, including tag teams." Now, this is interesting before I get to the second part of this segment, where are we going to get a handicap match for the US title? Is that what's going to happen? I'm very curious about that. I'm very, very curious about that if we're going to get um a handicap match for the US title. And imagine that's what we get and Fraxium wins. That's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird. I don't think that'll be the case. I hope it's not a handicap match. Hopefully it's just like one of them one week and then the other the next week. I think that would just be better back to back banger matches right there. Um, we then after that, after Ilya Dragunov left, DIY came up to Fraxium, the match that we were supposed to get tonight. Um, they came up to them and they were just chatting back and forth. And Axiom told Johnny Gargano that they were scared. That's why the match didn't happen, even though they scratched it because of time cuts. But you know, kayfabe. Um, and then DIY walked away after a little bit of talking. I didn't pay too much attention to this because I honestly didn't care. Um, Tama Tonga then comes up to Fraxium and just stares at them and says, I'm watching you. Just does the motion and walks away. And I just started laughing on live because I have no idea what this was. I don't even know what we're doing anymore, guys. I really don't. I don't know. Um, very weird. Very, very weird. Backstage again, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair were talking to Kathy Kelly, and they accept the challenge from Lyra Valkyria and Bailey. Um, After that, Nia Jax came up to them and was pretty much saying that, I'm just waiting for when one of you turns your back on the other. Charlotte Flair then said Nia Jax was projecting, because she's never had good luck with friendships. So she's putting it on everybody else. Nia Jax then brought up her old relationship with Alexa Bliss when they were, teaming. Um, I could have sworn it was Nia Jax that turned on Alexa Bliss. Phoebe in my chat was saying that technically Alexa did. I can't remember. So if somebody remembers in the comments or watching this, let me know in the comments below if Alexa Bliss was the one to turn technically. Because I can't remember. I could have sworn it was Nia. Um, but either way, Nia Jax said she hasn't seen the old Alexa Bliss, and Alexa says if you want the old Alexa Bliss, she's not hard to find. So I'm assuming, and I'm kind of hoping that we get the goddess Alexa Bliss back next week on SmackDown. In terms of the match, I have no interest in it, but if we get the goddess back, then I'm cool with it because the goddess Alexa Bliss was my favorite version of Alexa Bliss. I didn't like the whole Lily doll thing. I didn't like the Bray Wyatt stuff. Um, the goddess Alexa Bliss was my favorite, so I'd be definitely cool if she brought that back. Um, we then went into the main event of the evening, that being the no disqualification match between Drew McIntyre and Jimmy Uso. Now, this wasn't a terrible match, but it was your standard no disqualification match. There were chair shots. There was a table spot where Jimmy Uso Samoan dropped Drew McIntyre through a table. He then went for the Uso splash, but Drew McIntyre threw a chair at him mid-air, and then hit him with a Claymore to win the match. Standard stuff here. After the match, though, Drew started attacking Jimmy and then choked him with a chair. That prompted Cody Rhodes, of course, to come out and make the save. Never seen that before, right? Um, he made the save. He then went to go check on Jimmy Uso, but when he turned around, he got hit with a Claymore kick from Drew McIntyre to close the show. Usually, this just means the champion retains. I know this is not the go home show, but that's usually what this means. Um, yeah, and that was Friday Night SmackDown. Not a very interesting episode of Friday Night SmackDown, in my opinion. Um, I didn't enjoy a lot of what was on this show. I think if you missed this episode, it you didn't miss much, honestly. Like I'd honestly say go back and watch Aleister Black and Ilya Dragunov, and that's the only thing. Because that was my favorite thing from this episode of SmackDown was Aleister Black versus Ilya Dragunov. And I figured the US Open Challenge match was gonna be my favorite of the night, regardless of who it was. Um, but yeah, that was Friday Night SmackDown. Like I said, didn't enjoy it too much. Um, it could have been a lot better, and I don't have any high expectations for the go home show next week for Saturday night's main event. Who's the greatest wrestler? That's a very subjective question. A very subjective question. Um, See, you could have missed it. It came to Mandarin. Um, yeah, it's very. I can't label it down to one. I will say The Undertaker was always one of my favorites, along with Shawn Michaels. So, in my opinion, it would I would put them up on that pedestal. Um, but yeah, let me know what you guys thought about Friday Night SmackDown, though. I always love hearing you guys' opinions. You guys are just as big of part of the show as myself, Rue, and Stu are as well. So typically people say Steve Austin, Undertaker, John Cena. Yeah, because that's those are the guys that really revolutionized the game. If we're being honest, those three with The Rock and um some other guys, they revolutionized the game. But yeah, like I said in the beginning, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you're up to date with all the videos, podcasts, and interviews that come to the channel. Subscribe to the Kayfabe Central Ko-Fi page. Check out the Kayfabe Central website, all that good stuff. I will be back tomorrow. If I do, I should be doing the NXT Halloween Havoc post-show review, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Um, that's probably not going to be a long post-show. Is Steve Austin up there? Oh, he definitely is. Definitely is for me at least. Um, but yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode of the Friday Night SmackDown post-show review. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I will see you guys tomorrow for the NXT Halloween Havoc post-show review. And until then, take it easy.